Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 43 of the Berean Manifesto, Faith, Hope, and Love for the Modern Christian. We are meeting today, me here and Pastor Nooms in Tennessee. Sorry about that pause there. Hey, Pastor Nooms, can you stop sharing your screen in Teams? I can't seem to get you to pin because you're sharing your screen.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Now I can see you. All right. Yeah. So, So this is our warm up here because we record live on Sunday evenings at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're listening to this as a podcast, you are more than welcome and encouraged to come join us at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday evenings. We have a Twitch channel that we stream live to, a Facebook channel we stream live to, and a YouTube channel that we stream live to. And you can go to ekk.house to find out what those channels are. And then you can join us live on Sunday evenings and interact with us via type chat in those channels. And those also get forwarded to our Discord channel, where there in the Discord channel we can talk back and you can be a part of the conversation, ask questions, join us for what we're doing, and it's a good old time. We have a good old time. So if you want to see our faces instead of just listening to a podcast, you can join us on Sunday evenings.
I would say that's not the important part.
Seeing our faces?
No, seeing our faces is not the important part. Joining in on the conversation, because
because
neither one of us care anything about our faces. I don't even want you to look at my face. He just makes me be on camera.
Do you know how much time I put into straightening and conditioning and beard balming my beard to get ready for tonight?
I want no one to look at my face, ever.
I care about my face, bro.
I don't care about my face. You can be vain if you'd like to.
It's not vanity. I just want to look nice because I respect our viewers.
I just don't want anyone to look at me. I did turn up the intro music, so it will be interesting to see if it is way too loud or if it's way too quiet this time. Because
in the past it's been a little soft.
And there was a time where it was way too loud.
Yeah, gotta find that happy medium somewhere in there. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
And then adjust the happy medium because nothing changed except for some reason the medium.
Yeah, for some reason the medium became less medium.
Ooh, fire. Not that they can see it, because we're not on camera.
Can't see it. All I can see now is the countdown video.
Minute and a half! Isn't it your turn to use a card today?
It is. It is my turn to use a card. I have my deck right here ready for when that's time. I got my fresh Dr. Pepper I just opened, and I have my pile of cough drops here.
Ugh, you and your cough drops.
I have sinus drainage because of my year-round seasonal allergies, and it makes me cough.
Year-round seasonal allergies.
I have year-round. Okay, you crazy.
Oh, you got year-round seasonal corona.
No. No, I don't.
You have the coronavirus.
No, I don't.
There was a TikTok of these parents, and they're like, when you sneeze at school, say it with me, allergy. And the little kid's like, coronavirus!
Coronavirus!
You're like, no, allergies. 30 seconds. And so, that's, I was watching one this morning of that, because we had that issue this week.
Yeah.
Where she got sick at school, and they were like, go home, it might be a corona. It's like, no, it's an upper respiratory infection.
Yeah, those upper respiratory infections are rough.
7 seconds till they see your face.
Okay.
And face.
Once again, hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 43 of the Breed Manifesto, Faith, Hope, and Love for the Modern Christian. Tonight's episode, yes, I'm going to do another soft open, so don't get your feelings in a bunch over there, Pastor Ian. I'm going to do a soft open. We're talking about what we know about fear can teach us about faith. Right? And we're going to draw some correlations between fear and faith, and we're probably going to have some disagreements between myself and Pastor Nooms, maybe, at different points of the evening. And, I dropped my pen. I got these cool pins this week. I needed this desk pins, and I got this pack of pins. And they've got these cool little, Fleur design on it. And this particular one is pink, and there was a green one and a blue one.
I'm sorry.
One.
I'm sorry. Back up. I'm sorry.
What's
back up. It has what on it?
Fleur.
No.
The French word fleur for this kind of design.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Calligraphic fleur.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
We're joined by Biggs GFG on Twitch. He says something about spiders. I don't know what he's talking about. And we've got Phoenix joining us on Twitch. Hey, Phoenix. And you too could have your handle called out if you joined us live on Sunday evenings. Oh, Biggs is saying he fears spiders. Nice. Nooms, you're making eyeballs. Why are you making those eyeballs like that?
No reason.
You're staring off camera like
The wife entered
get out
the
of
room. No, that's full. Thank you.
It's the wife.
She was bringing me my sneak because I completely forgot to make my sneak or ask someone to make my sneak.
She snuck in to sneak you. And instead of playing it off, you highlighted it. Don't roll out a camera shot. Hey, Pastor Nooms, how was your week this week?
It was a week.
Yeah, it was.
I was very, very busy at work.
You were.
Do I talk about the thing? I can talk about the thing.
You talk about the thing. You can now.
I can now, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I have been, haven't talked about it on here just because can't talk about things that get shoved out into the public until things are real.
There's a certain modicum of respect and
So I was looking for a new job to move on from my current company, and nothing terrible, nothing like, oh my gosh, this company is unethical. Oh, I hate my job. It was just time for a move. I have dealt with that, but we won't get into there. And so I did accept a new position this week. And so I am starting there on the 15th. It looks now it's completely in the camera.
Oh, is it? How's that? Is that better?
It's up to you. There's nothing. Your microphone used to be completely in the shot. I don't know why you're so worried about it being out of the shot.
I don't know why you keep talking about it when it goes into the shot.
Because you said I don't want it in the shot. And I don't understand why, but that's why I've told you it's in the shot. I don't care. Okay. You have a nice microphone. Now, if it
I don't care anymore.
If it was a duct taped, crooked, like,
ooh, I could add duct tape to my microphone.
I will make you move it out of. No, I'm fine.
That would look so cool, Nooms.
No, I'm okay with the rug behind you. We start duct taping things, and I'm gonna have an issue.
Hey, that's my wall rug, man.
I don't care what it is.
That sounds like wall rug.
Okay, so my week was good.
You don't like my wall rug?
I've never really liked the wall rug. It's not a fashion.
You don't like tapestries?
No, I don't like tapestries. Especially when it's not a tapestry, when it's straight up an outdoor rug that you've stapled to the wall and called a tapestry. But
that's not stapled. I used
True.
nails.
Yeah, you did. I'm just harassing you because you know I can. My walls used to look just as bad. Let's be honest.
I like it.
And I tried the green screen there thing for a while there, and that didn't work
It
well
doesn't work
either.
very well.
Not for me. It works for some people. I've seen some people pull it off very well. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact of one, I don't like to have lights on.
I think it's your
Um,
face. It's not suited for green screen or something. I don't know. Anyway, you were talking about your week.
so my week was good. I'm just working on the transition and wrapping up the one company and getting, you know,
Yeah.
onboarded onto the new one.
Cool, cool, cool.
So that's always interesting.
Oh man, you're gonna hate me when you go to process this audio.
What did you do?
I moved my mic. I turned down my mic volume. I moved my mic again. Then I turned down my mic volume again.
I
So
don't
there's gonna
care.
be parts of it that are gonna be blown up and
No,
parts of it that are gonna be
I'm gonna
perfect.
I'm gonna make it a little smaller and I'm gonna line it up to where it sounds okay, and that's all I'm gonna do. And if you start bouncing in the middle of everything else, that's not my fault.
It's not your fault.
I'm not gonna cut it, and I'm not an audio engineer. Whatever you send me is getting used the way you send it to me. I love you, but I don't even check my audio. I'm like, did it bounce? Cool. All right, it's on.
Okay, well, I'll make some adjustments on my end where I know it needs to be adjusted before I send it to you then.
That's fine. You do you, boo boo.
Yeah. Boo boo. All right, are you done talking about your week yet?
We started playing a game that I played almost like 7.5, 8, 10 years ago. Um,
Yeah, we did.
and it was fun. It's fun. That's one of the games we're planning on starting streaming here in the next couple of days or week or whatever we get that going. Since your computer's supposed to be in soon, but that's part of your week, not part of my week, so that's okay. Um, and I think that's everything. I'm a
Is that
good
everything?
villain. I pushed someone off a building.
You did. You kicked a citizen off a building today.
Didn't even know it was possible. I'm like, what is this
Yeah.
citizen doing here? Went to
And
talk
you're
to
like,
him, and I just
whoa!
shoved him off the building. I was like, oh, I just killed that person. Like, it's one thing to, like, partially beat up a citizen and steal their purse. It's a whole nother thing to push them straight off a building. Like, that's just, I was like, that's a
Now to
hard.
be just to roll this out a little bit more, we aren't playing like Grand Theft Auto. We're playing DC Universe Online.
Hmm.
You know,
Where you have to be a hero or a villain. So,
and we chose to go villain because, well, we're already heroes in real life. So, you know, no, we have a strong moral code in real life that we allow to dictate what we do, and it's heavily tied in with our ethical beliefs. And so when we're role playing online, sometimes we go villain because we don't get to do villainy stuff in real life.
plus, there's the whole thing about jail.
I don't care about jail. I can be a villain just as easily in jail as I can out of jail.
I don't want to go to jail.
I don't care.
I'm too pretty for jail. I like air conditioning, soft towels. I mean, there's a whole list of reasons to not.
I don't not do things out of fear of jail. That's not my motivation. I don't do things because those are wrong to do.
Me either. I agree, Pastor Bill. I would never do anything out of knowing something is wrong, and that's the reason I don't
All
do
right.
it, as opposed
Take off
to.
your veil. Take off your veil and be real. Don't be
No,
Moses.
I mean, there's a lot of things I would do because my moral code is a little. No, see, that's the thing, Biggs. I'm worried about things like towels and soft beds and things like that. The things that are terrible about jail wouldn't worry me as much as the minor inconveniences that would drive me batty.
Yeah, there's a lot of prisons where you don't get a towel unless you can afford one from the commissary.
Yeah.
They tell you
And
to shake off like a dog.
there's a like I know I couldn't do it. But like, that's the crazy thing is I'm so like when people are like, "Hey, what era would you like to live in?" This one, possibly the next one, because it should be nicer. Like, I don't want to go
Well, maybe.
back. Um, and right now is a great time because I really can go out and get an axe and LARP with an axe with other people wearing axes and shields if I really. So I mean, if I really wanted to even do that, I could just go do it.
Yeah.
I'm already a
Yeah.
nerd. Look behind me.
All right. So how was my week,
How was
Pastor
your
Bill?
week, Pastor
So
Bill?
excellent segue. Excellent. So my week this week, as you said, we started playing that one game, mainly in anticipation for my new computer that was scheduled to come in on Friday afternoon, after 8 weeks. 8 weeks. 8 weeks of waiting. But there was a chip shortage, and so it wasn't like anybody's fault that it was delayed. It was just straight up, situational issues with everything going on in the world today. And so then on Friday morning, anyway, I got an email from UPS. Due to Hurricane Ida, my delivery got pushed back to Tuesday afternoon. So day after tomorrow. But at the time that we're recording this live.
And the idea, correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor Bill, was to start a character in anticipation so that way we could understand and be able to start streaming right off the gate. And this was a game I suggested because you might enjoy it because of your love of DC, and it may be something you enjoy. And I've played it, many, many years ago, and I played it till I burnt out and then walked away, so I'd be willing to try it again. But hey, maybe you'll like it. And then what happened? What happened? What happened, Pastor Bill?
I liked it.
How much?
A lot.
He's like, I don't want to wait, and because it's an old game, the computer I currently have can technically play it. So let's play it till I get the new computer, and then we'll play it more. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. So, and I'm leveling a character with you, and then we'll go to the other character that I already have.
Yeah.
But
so we'll do some streaming of that in Gaming with the Pastors.
Which will probably only be on Twitch.
Yeah.
We're not using the church's out for that, so that will only be on the Twitch channel. That is the Pastor Noom's Twitch channel. And then possibly...
So if you want to join and watch that show, those streaming things, that'll only be on Twitch, and you can go to our website, ekk.house. That is E as in elephant, and then K as in kite, and K as in ketchup, .house. Like you live in a house. ekk.house.
Ketchup is spelled with a K.
Yes, it is. So is kangaroo.
Watch you loss. Watch you lose. Yeah, we're going to get killed a lot. So at the moment, like the first 30 levels of this game is basically an advanced tutorial.
And we're winning like crazy right now.
Yeah, like you have to really, 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 really mess up to die. But
which I did.
Which while Pastor Bill was having some electrical issues yesterday, I went on to play my other character for a little while to get him caught up to the same point because there's been so much content in the 3,097 days that I was AFK, which was just funny to read. But the
that is almost 10 years. That's like 8 years.
Yeah, and they just went through their 10-year anniversary, and I played for a good while with one of our other friends from North Texas. So yeah, it was. I
AFK for 8 years.
I died several times to actual content. Yeah. And I was like, something is wrong.
Mm.
And then I realized what was wrong and I fixed it. And it was more of that content
All
that I had
right.
missed. So,
It is now time for Get to Know the Pastors.
the thingy cards.
Okay, are you ready, Pastor Nooms?
No, I'm never ready for this segment.
Excellent. Did I pull this out in the wrong order? Weird. Last time we pulled a card, it was, if you were to die tomorrow, what little thing would you regret not doing?
Yep.
And this week's card is, what is your greatest regret? So we're gonna skip that one.
Your deck is just like a whole bunch of the same questions.
Which talent would you most like to have?
Define talent.
I don't know, talent.
Like something a normal human can do. Not like something crazy. Not a superpower. A talent, right?
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of would be something that would hugely alter like my life. I can't think of anything small. Like I'd like to be able to juggle. I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. But if anything, I would like to be able to play games as efficiently as I could 15 years ago. Because my hands don't work the same anymore.
Yeah.
And my thumb goes, you know, because I shake, my thumb just goes, hit 4! And I mess up my rotations. And so I can't play a lot of competitive games anymore because of it, which is frustrating. So I would like to be able to play competitively. And I could even throw in the word again, because in my early 20s I could. Before my inflammation disorder got worse and worse. My arthritis and etc. What about you, Pastor Bill? What would you like to be able to do in life? Shuffle a deck of cards better?
It's not my lack of shuffling skills, it's my lack of luck. I have the worst luck of anyone I've ever met.
Your luck is pretty bad.
So I guess, you know, if there was a talent I would like to have, I would like to have a you know, better luck.
Phoenix is
Is
trying
luck
to
a
use
talent?
logic. Tell Phoenix to stop using logic.
Yeah. Phoenix, I already went through the deck and threw away the cards that were inappropriate. If that's...
There's a difference between inappropriate and just bad.
Well, just now I took out the cards that we had already done and then shuffled them twice with the, you know, the flip method, and then I did the pull and stick method. So they've been reshuffled now.
And the other ones are put where?
Huh?
Where did you put the ones that are bad?
Bad?
Well, already done. Or we skipped.
So I pull from the dark side, and then I put them into the light side. So I know that they're the ones that are already dad. They're done. Mixing done and bad together.
Well, several of them have been bad, so.
And some of them have been duplicates of your questions.
Yep.
And so it's like.
And I think mine are better just because, I mean, like, every one of those is one. Like, mine's not like a deck. I mean, I've got like this is a whole. I'm pulling from the middle so we don't mess up. Like it's a whole stack.
How many
of 'em.
cards is it?
I-
Because I've got 104.
More?
2 decks.
A crap ton. I just messed up the deck. I tried really hard not to, and a bunch fell on the bottom. I don't know if it says on it. The girls bought this for us. My 2 girls that live here. The 2 adult girls. Found this and got them.
Yeah.
For us.
And you don't know how many cards it is.
I'm gonna look in a second. It
I
might
just
say on
realized
it.
my video feed is on the home Wi-Fi.
And it hasn't had as many issues. You only
And
froze.
now my video feed is on the cellular service.
This is a question to spark conversations. 156 cards.
You definitely have more than me.
Yeah.
By
See,
52.
The crazy thing is now you're having issues.
Video issues?
Yeah. It's
How to get
back
back on the Wi-Fi.
It's back okay, but yeah, I find that to be interesting.
You never know. I just never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's weird.
What's weird?
Just the fact that you would think the opposite, not that.
Yeah.
Because I know your Wi-Fi. I know where you get your Wi-Fi from. You would think you'd have better cell service.
You really would. You'd think that my AT&T cell service would be better than the laser dish on top of my house that's pointed, receiving from several miles away. What?
We talked about it.
You talked about what?
Now you're frozen.
Oh, am I frozen now?
Yeah, and now it's crappy quality.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. We shouldn't talk. Here, I'll fix it. You ready?
Yeah.
All better.
No.
How's that?
No, because then it's just my face.
Yep, it's just your face now.
I can pull that picture I made of you that one day and make it your face.
Oh, no, don't do that. Yeah.
I can do it. when your video was completely dead and we only had, so it was just, because that was the picture I got.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we're sufficiently warmed up. Is Zadie not going to join us tonight?
I just think she's not talking.
Okay. She usually sounds off by now that she is here.
I hear you from the living room. So
somebody's watching.
someone's watching.
Well, we know Phoenix is watching if she's there.
Aha! She spoke.
Oh, there she is. Zadie19 sounds off on Twitch. And you can too if you join us on Sunday. Yeah, I don't know why I'm feeling such a push for inviting people on this episode to join us live on Sunday nights. But seriously, if you're not doing anything else on Sunday nights, we gotta, you should come and be a part of the conversation live and ask questions. And oh my goodness,
You're just having a night.
I am. Well, I mean, it's a weekend thing. It's the whole weekend. Just shot. Just.
Do you want to talk about your
yesterday.
electricity issues?
Sure. 5 o'clock yesterday, all the power here just went off. And I was like, what just happened? Oh, look at that, my audio. When I turned my camera back on, my audio on my phone came back on, so I was getting an echo.
Oh.
All right. So all the power from my desk comes from a plug right back here. It all went down. The air conditioner over there went down. And I went to check on it, and it was like a line that followed around this end of the house and then across skipped a plug and then continued on the front of the house, the porch light, the thing we had the TV plugged into, all the way to the room on the other end of the house, those plugs, and then across that side of the house too, the far side of the house too, all went out. and I checked the breaker box. They're all on the same line, and the line's getting power, but then somewhere between the line getting power and this first plug here, the power's not getting here. And so then I was trying to track that down, and I found a short in this plug, thinking this plug was part of it too. But this plug right over here in front of me is not part of it too. And so I fixed the short that wasn't actually causing any problems, only to find out it wasn't part of the problem. So now I'm going to have to call an electrician on Tuesday, because I'm not paying Labor Day prices for an electrician to come out to my home. And the last time I had electric problems, every electrician I called said they were not doing residential work until the pandemic was over, except for one. This little old man who I don't think is going to want to crawl under my house to try to figure out what's going on. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So if you know any electricians in the Decatur, Texas area that do residential electric work, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic.
And for a trailer.
And for a 37-year-old trailer, have them send me an email. It's info@ecclesianhouse.com or info@ekk.house. You know, I found out that some internet services won't let you put ekk.house as the email address. Like when you're signing up for something or even trying to send an email. There's certain programs that won't accept .house as an email address.
There's some people who have it programmed for the old style of programming where it had to be a .com. Mm-hmm. Because that was the only domain that actually allowed emails, and so
then you got .org and .info and you know.
But a lot of them, that is one of the requirements for those aspects.
He has better work ethics than you think.
The little old man, which
well, it's not about his work ethic. It's about, can he physically get down on the ground and crawl underneath my house?
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt that he would want to try.
No, I respect it. I think he would, you know. But
because he did a really good job with your last electrical issue when...
He did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, we're not...
He pieced together and built an outside breaker box from pieces that weren't supposed to work together because everything in here is jimmy rigged to work. And so it took him forever. And he got it done. He got it done well, and it looks amazing.
I know. So we love the little old man. We're just not sure if he wants to get underneath the falling apart trailer.
Right.
Where there's literally
so
the floor
we are definitely sufficiently warmed up now.
Yes, we are.
So
we are longer than we normally warm up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I know when I'm listening to other podcasts, like what podcast is that? Talking Trek. I'm listening to Talking Trek podcast, which is live right now with 26 people on the Discord listening to them. They like at the beginning, it's like a 2-hour podcast, and at the beginning, they spend like 20 minutes talking about sports. Okay, and then for 40 minutes, they talk about the Star Trek game that you and I play, that Nims and I plays, Star Trek Fleet Command. And then for the next 30 minutes, they talk about sports again. And then for the last 30 minutes, they usually talk about the only information that I'm there for. And so I'm like, this hurts my brain. I don't want to hear about sports and your opinion on sports. This is not a sports podcast. Why? Why are you talking about sports? Just shut up and get back to the actual content that your podcast is about.
Yeah, there's it can be frustrating.
So we apologize if we frustrated you with the last 35 minutes of warm up and getting to know us and hearing things about our lives. But we
But
didn't
at
talk about
least
sports.
it wasn't sports.
The only time we're going to talk about sports on this podcast is
Super Bowl
the
Sunday.
commercials. When we talk about the commercials that ran in the Super Bowl, that is when we will talk about sports. Is when we talk about those commercials.
Someone at work this week, we were in a meeting and they started talking about one of the Tennessee teams and something about them, and they're like, "What do you think about it?" And I said, "I'm currently sitting at my desk wearing a Marvel T-shirt. I don't even know what sports season we're in."
Yeah, I don't even
Like,
know what team that is.
like no,
What
man,
is that?
I don't know.
Is that foosball where they ride the horse and they got that ball made of pigskin and they have to
Okay, stop combining things.
kick
Like
it with their foot?
I even know more than that. Okay.
And then they're like, home run!
30-second buffer. Here we
Goal!
go. We're done. I'm fearful for how this is going to go. Ha 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 ha.
I always use that to poke fun at people who talk about sports, and they ask me a question about a sport, and I'll be like, is that the one where they... And then I just start piecing random pieces of different sports together that I know about, because that's what it sounds like to me when they're talking about their sports. They're like, and he flibbits the widget, and I'm like, I don't understand what you just said. I have no idea what you're talking about. Flibbits the widget. Okay. All right. So what do we know about fear that can teach us about faith? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's important to talk about this is because, well, obviously these three remain: faith, hope, and love. So faith is one of our core tenet areas that we talk about. And it's surprising to me how often I talk to people who are like, I just don't know how to have faith. I don't know how to exercise faith. I don't know what that means to have faith. I don't understand faith. I don't understand the concept of faith. I don't understand how this whole faith the size of a mustard seed thing works. What does that even mean? A little bit of faith can blah, blah, blah. And it's this concept that people have such a hard time wrapping their brains around. But the simple answer is, and if you want to turn this podcast off after I say this simple answer, because it really is just, this is the answer, and then we're going to, expound upon that. The simple answer is that you already know how to have faith, and it comes naturally to you, expressed as fear. Fear is your natural human expression of faith. Faith is a spiritual expression that comes naturally to your spirit, but your spirit's not in control of your body. Your body is. And for the human flesh, fear is the natural reaction to something that you believe without evidence. And faith is something you choose to believe without evidence. You already know how to have faith. And so think about it. Fear is believing in something without evidence. Now, you may have precedents that something has happened, and that's informing your fear. Okay? If I sit on a railroad track in a car as the car stalled, other cars have gotten hit by a train, I'm afraid I'm going to get hit by a train. You don't know you're going to get hit by a train. You're not a precog, are you? Have you seen the future? You have a fear of the unknown. You're choosing to believe something that you don't know. You don't have evidence that you are going to get hit by that train. We watch scary movies where these people are running from serial killers. They don't know they're going to get killed. They have precedents that has convinced them, and they're choosing to believe. Right? People are afraid of storms. They don't know. People are afraid of this or afraid of that. You can what?
I can see the point you're making.
See, this is why I said there's going to be some disagreement here tonight.
Man, your camera is now freaking out.
Okay, we're recording a podcast.
I know,
the
but
video is a courtesy to the people who showed up live.
I know, but it's your talk and then it's frozen and then it catches up and so you're doing this on the screen and so it's hard to focus in the times when you're doing this.
Yeah.
So I understand the point that you're making. And I agree, faith is, the belief that something's going to happen based on, sometimes precedence, sometimes faith, sometimes just belief. Sometimes it's the belief that something's going to happen because of a belief.
Right.
So I get that.
So tell me how fear is any different.
Because humans have a natural fear response.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a natural faith response.
I'm supposing that our spirit does.
Yeah, I could see that, but you are drawing a very strong correlation between the physical and the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not saying there isn't a connection, of course, because there is, but
well, not really connection, but a correlation. I mean,
that's what I mean. Sorry, I used a word and then lost the word. But I think there is fear is to me more raw than faith is. Because faith is something that you do have to a certain degree, learn. Because it's like when you're a small child, you don't have faith in anything. And you don't know, is this thing going to, because you don't have the precedence you've built upon. Whereas fear, you're afraid of anything you don't understand. Some people, not everyone. And so I think that fear is more raw. Now, I'm not saying that there's no correlation. And I always, there are lots of people who do the whole faith versus fear, or fear versus faith, depending on how they word it. And they'll do a whole sermon series on how we have to have faith and not be fearful because we have faith. And I don't always agree with that line of reasoning because
fear is what keeps me from stepping out in front of a coming train.
Right.
Keeps me from jumping off the edge of the Grand Canyon. Keeps me from,
There's definitely your fear of consequences does
keep you safe and healthy.
And without being safe and healthy, your faith to a certain degree won't matter because you probably won't be here if you're not afraid of the things that can kill you.
But faith isn't for your physical body.
It's not.
Faith does the same thing for your spirit that fear does for your body.
But on the same token, faith does affect the physical in that the things that we have the faith that it'll work. A great example that you always use is a chair that doesn't work for me because I'm fearful of every chair I sit in. But you've used that example many times. I have faith that the chair will work.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily spiritual. It is physical because there's not you know, it happens in your mind so quickly, you make that decision before you move. Um,
So, but what I'm saying is not that you can't physically have faith. I'm saying that what fear is for the flesh, meant to be a protective, you know, don't do this or you'll die, don't do this, you'll get hurt. Faith is the same thing for your spirit. Whereas faith informs you not to step out, whereas fear informs you not to step out in front of the train, faith informs you spiritually to not get involved with voodoo. You see what I'm saying? Faith and fear are serving purposes for physical and spiritual life. They're serving the same purpose, but one full spiritual and one full physical.
I don't know.
All right, Twitch on Zadie. Zadie on Twitch says, wouldn't small kids have an inherent faith, though? Because they have faith in the adults who take care of someone they are trusting you will take care of them. Just in some kids, the fear is stronger than their faith. And Phoenix, seconds that, oh, good point. Except it's not how it works. Kids that are abused inherently fear adults. And kids that are loved learn to trust adults. And some kids, I'm sorry, your whole body went pixelated on my video, but your background is completely crystal clear. That's hilarious.
You see what I mean, though? Because
yeah,
the technical sometimes does get in the way. You're like, I can't focus on
totally
anything else.
Totally distracted by that. All right. So the child learns to have faith in their physical surroundings when they are taken care of. When they are too young, say a newborn baby, they're not exercising faith in the adults that are around them. They're exercising lack of awareness. They're not aware that they're being held. They're not aware that they're being loved. They're not aware, and they learn they get these little pieces of awareness when they're feeding, when they're skin to skin. And through those little pieces of awareness, then they learn faith. But a baby that you leave alone crying in a crib, they are exercising fear of being alone. They just instinctively know being alone is bad.
A predator can eat me.
Right. Because their flesh wants to keep them safe. And they inherently know alone is bad. They don't reason because a predator can eat me. They don't reason that. They don't know why being alone makes them afraid. But being alone puts them into fear. So I would have to not say that I believe the same way you do on that question. I'm not saying you're wrong, though. I'm saying the way I see the situation is what I've explained there. So, yeah.
So, I understand your supposition, even though I don't fully agree. Do you want to...
So Phoenix on Twitch says, but hold on, because babies that are born new are automatically comforted by your Phoenix does not talk that way in real life, but she types that way, which is weird. Okay. Automatically comforted by their parents. So you're right. Babies that are new are automatically comforted. And what I believe is happening there is they've gone from a place where they are warm and comfortable and surrounded and completely enveloped to this harsh, crazy environment And then when they are put back into the mother's arms, they're swaddled and wrapped up and back to a place where they can sense and hear the same sounds that they were hearing in that comfortable place. If that makes any sense. All right, so you were saying.
So
you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Supposition.
Don't necessarily.
Although I haven't heard you actually disagree with my supposition yet.
I don't. Well, I did. I said I don't know that I believe the correlation is.
But then you went on to explain what you do believe, and it wasn't exclusionary of what I'm saying in any way in any way at all.
It's not, but that does not mean I agree.
I would even say you could put both of them together in a book, and it would just read through like, oh, okay, we're just fully explaining the thing.
It could be, and then might not be, because something irks me about it, and I don't know what yet, and I might get there. But something about it irks me, and I don't know why.
It might just be that it's different from what you've always been taught and always heard, and has been conditioned.
Because I've never liked the fear versus faith anyway, so it's not that.
I've never liked it either, because people are like, no fear, and I'm like, well, I mean, I don't get out of I've never been, but I don't get out of a torch truck in the Sahara, in the African Sahara, because of lions. And that's a fear response. And that keeps me alive, right?
Well, and, you should have a healthy fear of certain things, even in the spiritual, And so, I think that I think that the no fear is very flawed. There was a shirt, when the no fear shirts came out, there was one that said no fear, but it was the KNOW, and then it had the scripture. But my point was, the question was, where does that fit in with the scripture you wanted to talk about tonight? How do those tie in together? Because now that I understand your premise of your thought process.
2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and sound judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe what Paul is telling Timothy here, when he says power, love, and a sound judgment, he's trying to describe faith, how you break faith down into what it naturally is. Power, which was the word dunamis, which was understood in Christian circles to mean the ability to do miracles, was the powerhouse of the Holy Spirit. It was known as divine power. That word there is what they meant when they would use that word, the word dunamis. Love, which is love, and sound judgment, so to make wise decisions. Biggs, we are in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. And sound judgment there
that's an interesting
is really
word.
Played down in a lot of translations, but in the Greek it's the word sophronismos, which is discipline or self-control. What?
Oh, that is an S. Whew! I was like, that's not what I read, because my brain did not even process the S. My brain started with the O. I was like, that is not the word I just read. What are you talking about?
Ophronismos?
Yeah.
You thought it was ophronismos?
Yeah. I was like, that is not what I just read, homie. Like, I don't know where you're going.
Sophronismos.
I thought you were.
And It comes from the word sophronizo, which is to discipline or correct or to teach specifically in the area of how do we do things right. It's not necessarily the spare the rod idea. It's not that. It's not the rod idea. It's the teaching, disciplined in teaching and sharpening the mind.
It's a very interesting word because, there's a lot of Greek and Hebrew that's used a lot. And then there are some that are used very little in the Bible. And that's one that's used once. And then the word that it comes from is used once. And the word it comes from is used only 4 times. So it's an interesting word choice to think that there's all the New Testament that Paul wrote, and there's this word's only used a couple times. He uses it very succinctly.
And that is one of the tropes that Paul uses. When he's wanting to say something specific and highlight that it's important, he'll choose an obscure word.
Yeah. And so to answer your question, Phoenix, if we don't have a spirit of fear, then why do we have a fear response when we spiritually sense demons or bad vibes? So I would say that is not your spirit, that is your physical body. Your physical body has the flight or fight responses in the brain respond even when there is not a physical stimuli, but because it's still processing all the information, even when we don't understand what it's processing, it's still the physical process. It's not the spiritual process. It's your brain, it's your soul telling your spirit to tell your brain that something's wrong, and even though you can't physically see what it is, it's still your brain that decides whether to fight or flight. So it's still the fear overall is very much a physical response, I think, because physical, and I think it's part of the whole creature things that are built into us automatically. Dark is bad because I don't know what dark is. Does that mean something's in the dark? I don't know, but it's bad. The unknown is always a fear, and then yes, there are times to be afraid, like sensing demons, bad vibes.
All right, so it's time for us to wrap up. But I just wanted to,
Oh, wow.
So I just wanted to touch right here real quick. Big says, fear God. And unfortunately, in the modern definition of the word fear, that message is lost because of translations and yada, yada, yada. So basically, we are taught in the Old Testament to fear God. And Paul does yes, I believe that Paul wrote Hebrews. Paul does in the book of Hebrews tell us to have a godly fear when we're approaching God. But the word and the idea of fear of God that's talked about in the Bible is the Greek word eulabia, okay? And it's properly caution, reverence, piety, right? Now, implication, it's dread or fear, but the word itself is reverence. It's respect. It's giving it its own due. And I think when we say, someone needs to fear God, in the modern vernacular, we're missing something altogether, because the word fear now doesn't communicate the same thing it did then. Now it only means, I'm afraid I'm going to get killed. It doesn't mean respect. It doesn't mean reverence. It's, modern fear. And so I wanted to real quick highlight First John chapter 4, and we're gonna start in verse. Let's start in verse 15. Whoever confesses, and that was First John chapter 4, starting in verse 15. Whoever confesses that Jesus is the Son of God, God remains in him, and he in God. And we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love. And the one who remains in love remains in God, and God remains in him. In this, love is made complete with us, so that we may have confidence in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so also are we in this world. There is no fear in love. Instead, perfect love drives out fear, because fear involves punishment. So the one who fears is not complete in love. We love first because he first loved us. If anyone says, I love God, and yet hates his brother or sister, he is a liar. You can go finish reading that for yourself from then on. But in the modern vernacular of the word fear, it doesn't fit with God being love and love driving out perfect fear. And notice it didn't say faith drives out fear. It said love drives out fear, right? So if you're afraid of me and I shower you with love, not in a creepy stalkery way, then that can drive out that fear. I like to watch those videos where those people find the abandoned animals and rescue them and nurse them back to health, because you see this overwhelming fear in these animals who've been abused and abandoned and left on the streets. And it usually only takes the rescuers half hour, 45 minutes top of loving this animal before the animal loses all fear of them and trusts them completely. Mm-hmm. And it just, every time my heart is like, oh, it's so great. It's so great. And I just wish there were more videos like that with people. Like, I shared a video with Nooms, this politician that's running for mayor of New York. And he's doing the speaking thing, and this gentleman without a shirt on comes up and just stands right in front of him. And any other politician, the police would come up and just usher the guy away. This guy stops his speech and walks down there and starts having a private conversation with the guy. And when the police walk up, he says, no, I got this. We're good. And he shows nothing but compassion to this gentleman who needed medication, didn't have medication, wasn't in his right mind, was suffering on the streets of New York because of it. And he approached him with compassion and what appeared to be love, and almost instantly broke down that man's sense of defense and fear and I got to protect myself. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing to see. Did you think it was beautiful?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was amazing. I was like, we need more of that.
Yeah. Now I don't know what the person believes aside from that, and that's always
nope. I don't know anything else. That's why I didn't say the person's name.
It is shocking. I was shocked to see it because so many politicians are not like that. Mm-hmm. And to see something like that was very interesting. And I did want to point out that word fear that's used in First John is of course a completely different word than the fear. That fear actually means
that's the modern fear.
To be terrified.
Yeah.
So, it's actually to be frightened. Um, it's, um, it's like, yeah, that's fear. So no, but I think that is very interesting when you look at those types of things next to each other.
Yes. Phobos.
Yes.
Which is very telling because we use the word phobia.
Yep.
This is the word phobos. It's
as close as you can get.
to be put in fear, alarm, or fright. Be afraid.
Yeah.
Exceedingly afraid. Fear. Terror.
There's not a lot of gray area in that particular word.
Yep.
It's not one of those that we don't know what it means. It's straight up like, oh yeah, we use that Greek word to make other words. Like we know that one.
We already use that word. We throw
know,
that into all kinds of things.
We know that one. That one's easy.
Arachnophobia. We got that one. Phobos.
Why you gotta? I hate.
Because your father said
I know
spiders earlier.
No, I know.
So that's why I chose that one.
But it makes me itchy.
Okay, chlorophobia. How's that? Chlorophobia. How do you spell that word?
I don't know.
The fear of clowns. How's that one?
That's what you have.
I don't have that anymore.
You don't?
Nope.
What changed? Sorry, not important to this.
I stopped caring.
I stopped caring.
My anxiety went away. My phobias went away. I got at peace with, I'm going to live until I don't. And I became in peace with that idea. And my phobias went away. My anxiety went away. And I'm not afraid of clowns anymore or fire ants. And I can sleep with my back to the edge of the bed. And I can sleep with the door open. I can turn off the lights. I don't need sound going to keep me from being anxious. Big says, Libby heard you, Nooms. Libby is Big's dog.
Yes, and I have not
seen. Love Libby.
I have not seen
my
cute
little
sister.
Fur monster.
I have not seen my sister in like a week, and she does not like it if I don't come over. I think she's more needy than my parents are about seeing me.
That's funny.
She gives me more face kisses than they do, luckily, because I don't.
We're 8 minutes over. Do you have anything concrete to add? Did you figure out why you don't? What is irking you about the concept?
No, I don't know what irks me about the concept. But I mean, it's not like I disagree with this wholeheartedly. It's just,
well, it's not a salvation issue. It's
right, not at all.
Quality of living issue.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're allowed to disagree. We don't have to agree.
We disagree often.
I just wish you felt. I just wish you could put a.
Yeah. No, I know.
Express what it is so that we could.
Well, it'll hit me. It'll hit me at some point, and hopefully then we will remember it and talk about it on a podcast as opposed to in the middle of the week when we're talking and I go, this is why you're wrong because of this, and which does happen every now and then, you know.
And I'll laugh at you and I'll go, you're so funny.
I know, it irritates me greatly. But like you said, not a salvation issue. You come with all this
passion, and I'm like, it's not a salvation issue. I can be wrong.
There are some times I get overly passionate about some things, and your nonchalantness drives me insane. Your smug just sitting there because it's not important drives me up the wall, and I lose my mind and have to stop talking to you. And just, it happened a couple weeks ago, and it was really funny, and it wasn't important. It was just something that got up my crawl, and you said one phrase, and I was set off for like, what was it, 3-4 hours for no good reason.
You said, you see, this is what I don't like about you. This right here. And I was like, okay, give it to me.
Yeah.
All right, so it's time for a 30-second buffer. We have a cool little song we sing here at the end because some of the services require a 30-second buffer unless we want the last 30 seconds of what we talked about to be cut off. So if you're a fan of a certain cartoon dog of a certain color, you'll probably recognize the tune. But here we go. 30-second buffer, 30-second buffer, 30-second buffer. Has it been 30 seconds yet? Of course not. That's not how time works.
Nope.
30-second buffer.
Yep.
30-second buffer.
30-second buffer.
I love you. Have a great week.
Be safe out there, guys. Love you.
And until next time.